How did doctors manage to go on strike for 13 months in Anambra? Tolu Ogunlesi. Tolu Ogunlesi, special assistant to the president on news media, has taken to his Twitter page to express his view concerning the unfortunate ongoing ASU strike and to respond to Peter Obi's statement on the government and ASU situation. Tolu Ogunlesi explains that he hopes the ASU strike gets resolved soon. Tolu used this as an avenue to indirectly slam Peter Obi's government in Anambra. Tolu Ogunlesi furthers by saying if labour disputes were so easy to resolve, how did doctors in Anambra manage to embark on strike for 13 months in 2011 and 2012, Peter Obi's tenure? Ending his tweet, Ogunlesi stresses the necessity for humility and to lower the grandstanding. Okay, I think, good question. Let Peter Obi answer that. With the thing is, it gets very complicated when it comes to professionals, because the mentality is it's not the labor market. When we talk about the production levels and the funds that the government is able to pay to these people, of course it's not enough, and that's why they strike a lot. But it's not a thing where the doctors themselves are in and out of office where they're prioritizing what they're going to get. I feel like I'm now his campaign, but they're prioritizing their salaries over the fact that they will strike and people are going to die in the hospitals and people are going to be sick and people not be treated. And I think that in itself shows where we are already lacking, because mentally we should not be thinking like that in the first place. So we're going to wait for Peter Obi to answer this question, because who else can come to vouch for that time? 13 months, that's literally a whole year. And there has to be validity to what he's saying, because that's literally a year and a month. So you're telling me that a whole year doctors are on strike. That's not possible. I personally don't think that is realistic. That literally cannot happen. So yeah, we'll see what happens when Peter Obi replies to this. Or in fact, maybe you should also go do your research and find out what happened at the time. But yeah, until he comes out to answer this, I don't think you can really say that doctors were on strike for 1 year. For 1 year. Yeah, at least, at most half a year. But a whole year, no medical, nah. It will probably be one hospital in a certain area, in a certain local government area, but it cannot be in the whole of Anambra State. There were no doctors in public hospitals for 1 year. That's a bit extreme. Just saying. Let's look at the comment section. Peter Obi is part of the mess of Nigeria. He lacks the capacity to be president of this great nation in challenging times like this. Why? Mr. Man, there are difference between federal schools and state university. During Obi's tenure, no state university were on strikes, and besides, he cannot pay what belongs to federation. Or have you seen any governor working on a federal project? Oil is not in your head, okay? Which doctors went on strike in Anambra State during Peter Obi's tenure? I'm from Anambra and I was there at that time. Doctors never went on strike during Obi's tenure. You are paid to lie, but you have failed. How can you be lying with impunity? Come on live show and talk this nonsense, okay? I mean, even if you're to lie, I mean, who's going to believe that doctors on strike for 1 whole year? 1 year in the whole of, I mean, come on, that's a bit extreme. Fourth finder, you people are making Obi very popular daily. It seems if Obi attacked you don't have anything any other thing to write. Someone out here says, I thought they said Obi was a saint, but 13-month strike means many lives lost. I don't think you understand. We need to apply logic and sense to this kind of thing. There is no way in the whole of Anambra State. Do you know how much news that would be? Nigerians wouldn't take that. I mean, Nigerians take a lot of, disrespect from the government and a lot of, BS from the government. Fine. But a whole year in the whole of Anambra State, all doctors and public hospitals are on strike. Who's going to believe that? I even find that hard to believe. Doctors going on strike is not an unusual thing. We know that it happens, yes. But you cannot say for a whole year, 13 months, a year and 1 month. Come on. Again, the man himself was also impeached. You have to understand what also makes him, in my opinion, a very good candidate is because he has worked with those people that do not have the same mindset as him. He was impeached, for crying out loud. Listen, and he's also said that he hasn't shared money. You have to go watch a lot of the talks and conferences he gives, where he throws shade to those he's working with, saying, you know what, they're not here, they don't support me. Why? Because I don't share money. That is why they would say things about me. And these were the issues he was facing while he was governor. So if he has gone through the experience and knows his colleagues and knows the pattern of how things works, and could still save funds, could still manage funds properly, and still make sure that he could help the education system in Anambra State from being from a ranking of 26 in the country to number 1 in the country, and also healthcare, which was also very good as well. I don't know where this news is coming from. Then it says a lot, because it's not just having a candidate who has the experience and thing. It's like, how can you survive in this space? It's not application. You know what to do, but how do you react when people are working against you? When those that are meant to sign a certain treaty or a certain agreement for the next step to be taken, when they're proving difficult, what do you do? And he's proven to be effective even whilst facing opposition. So that is why he's also a very good candidate. How can we trust another person who's not been in government, or who's been a governor, and still managed to keep keep the state in a very good position and still save funds when he left? I mean, come on. If that doesn't scream appropriate and adequate and sufficient, I don't know what else will. Because that's why I was saying, when it comes to his intelligence and CV, I mean, this guy has experience. I mean, it's amazing. But so do other Nigerians that are not even running for presidency. That so do other presidential aspirants. I mean, obviously, we're talking Fela Duotore. Like, these people, when they were presidential aspirants, I would not be surprised if their CV is the same thing. They have achieved amazing things. They're business people, been in several things. But it's like, what makes you different is when you're in the midst of people that are not in the same ideology as you, or you're in the midst of resistance and you can still rise above it and get the job done. Now, that's what makes him a good Nigerian president in the Nigerian space. It's not just by having the experience and all that, because a lot of people do. And I think it's best that we judge on that standard, where, you know what, with his CV, his experience, yes, other people have that too. I mean, what if there are 2-3 Peter Obis that have the plethora of or the vast nature of his CV that he has? What do we then say about that? So then we have to then raise the bar as well, you know. And yeah, just because Peter Obi is the one that we're going for doesn't mean we should underestimate or undermine any other political candidate. We shouldn't. But again, it just is that Peter Obi is getting most of the support. It is what it is. Put what you think about this in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.